Today at Commander Replay, we check out this blue-white control deck that's no friggin' joke. Find out what I meant when I told opponents, this deck's not messing around. Next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Raff Capashen Ship's Mage today. Today's deck list comes to us from GoFundMe donor Justin, and took a look through this deck before the game, and whew, it looks strong. This looks like a very well-tuned blue-white control deck. We've got a lot of counter magic. We've got Planeswalkers, we've got Legendaries, we got Madomai, take some extra turns, we got a Norn. Yeah, there's some stuff. You'll notice the mana curve is nice and low. You'll notice a lot of 2-drops and pretty light on everything above 2 mana. So yeah, trying to really be efficient mana-wise. Yeah, this deck looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Told opponents to bring some strong decks. We'll see what they got for us today. Alright, this hand is a little bit risky with 2 lands, but 2 lands in Heuristic Study seems pretty good. So all we got to do is find a third, and then I'm feeling pretty good about things. So we're going to go ahead and keep that. This deck was a little bit light on lands at 35. It does have a low mana curve, so that's something. Let's see how much ramp is actually in this deck. Yes, you're looking at about 11 pieces of ramp. Oop, 12 with Smothering Ties. So yeah, pretty decent amount of ramp. Still a little bit nervous about 35 lands. If we don't catch that third land, we're gonna be in trouble. Personally, I'd probably go to 36 just to, like, not have that worry about, you know, not catching that land off the top when you need it. You're blue, so you can draw. But that's just me. Especially on MTGO. On paper, you could probably make 35 work. The MTGO shuffler is just unkind sometimes, so, you know, there's days where 37 and 38 lands isn't enough. You can't ever find your third land, so yeah. Definitely need to run a few extra on MTGO. That's 2 turn 1 Soul Rings from our opponents. And we're going last in the turn order. Can't say I love this. Probably should have Force of Willed one of them, honestly. Brings back to our turn. We draw a Sword of Feast and Famine. Not quite what we're looking for. Play the Flooded Strand. Correct the Flooded Strand. Get ourselves a Tundra. Play this Authority of the Consoles, and pass turn like that. So Raff Capashen Ship's Mage, for those who don't remember, card out of Dominaria, is 2-white blue for a 3-3 with Flash and Flying. You may cast historic spells as though they had Flash, and those are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are all historic. Opponent's going to cast themselves a Sign in Blood. They got the pretty promo version, textless version of Sign in Blood. Looks pretty nice. They're going to swing a Sanitarium Skeleton into us, sure. So yeah, we're still going to be doing the Pray for Land dance on our next turn, and hopefully that works out for us. Taking a look at what our opponents are playing. First up, we have Chaotix 2075, piloting Ayara, First of Locktwain, is triple black for a 2-3. When it or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Tap it, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. Yeah, that's going to be some mono-black aristocratsy stuff. And we see the Sanitarium Skeleton. Card with the ability to come back from the graveyard. I think we know what's coming with that deck. There's that third land we were looking for. Excellent. Anything to do with 2 mana? We got a Snappy. Snappy's not super exciting. No spells in graveyard, so I guess we're passing like that. Sit on the old Force of Will. Jet Medallion. So what I think is going to be an interesting dynamic in this game is the fact that we have Flash on everything but are going last in the turn order. I'm wondering how much our Flash ability can overcome kind of the hurdles of going last. I'm hoping it gives us something. If we were playing some sort of like tap out in your main phase kind of deck, and when you're going last, is not great, especially when you're facing down 2 turn 1 Soul Rings. Really not a great place to be. Opponent going to send the Skeleton into the Torbran. Continuing on our opponents, next up we have Champion of Thune piloting Will and Rowan Kenrith, a deck that we've seen a few times, and they've got some turns in there. Luckily, we've come prepared with counter magic with today's deck, so I do like that. That's a Heuristic Study for opponent. Well, if we play our Heuristic Study, then opponents will probably not be paying 2 per card draw, and we should easily be getting the draw triggers. Would it be funny to Heuristic Study and Phyrexian Metamorph on the Heuristic Study? I think it would be funny. Basically make it impossible for anyone to pay the Heuristic Study costs. Opponent laid down an Outpost Siege last turn, and they put it on cons, so they get the Upkeep trigger this turn. Exile themselves a mountain. And actually, with Outpost Siege, I think I prefer to exile lands more than anything else, really. If I play Outpost Siege, I try to run Divining Top, or something that gives some ability to look at the top of your library, because I really do like to set the lands on Outpost Siege. That way you're not losing spells that you can't cast if like you get your 7-drop early in the game or something like that. Here comes Torbran, Thane of Red Fell, into play, and we're going to gain a life. I think life gain going to be pretty good against a red deck that wants to do lots of damage. We're going to put some boots on it. Yep, Authority of the Consoles, saving us a little bit right there. Authority of the Consoles, so good, so strong. Really hoses red decks, people that try to swing with haste. Also messes up opponents when they try to block stuff. If there's a situation, let's say there's like a green player that just laid down an Avenger of Zendikar, and you need to get blockers in, Authority of the Consoles, Blind Obedience, those cards make it real difficult. Put you into a hard spot against a situation where you need blockers. So we're going to go ahead and lay down our Rhystic Study. That'll trigger opponent's Rhystic Study. Can't do much about it. So 2 Rhystic Studies into the battlefield, 1 for us, 1 for our opponent. And I'm going to hope to catch a land at some point here. Want to make that 4th land drop. Comes a Phyrexian Arena and 2 Rhystic Study triggers. Everyone's setting up their card draw enchantments. Someone pay for the Rhystic Study? Did we draw the Enlightened Tutor? I missed it. I thought we already had the Enlightened Tutor. I don't know what happened to our last Rhystic Study trigger right there. We do draw a Narset's Reversal as the Elixir of Immortality comes into play. Oh, that's a Time Twister. I like our hand a lot. Draw with the Rhystic Study. There's a Narset. Still haven't found a land. Think I'm going to force a will on that. I'm pretty sure our hand is only getting worse if we let this Time Twister go. Also tells me that they probably don't like their hand. So, what are we exiling right here? Snappy seems pretty good. Metamorph, maybe? Metamorph's good, but there's nothing crazy on board right now that we need to Metamorph, so I think it's Metamorph. Can't pay for the Rhystic Study. So, Time Twister gets countered by the Force of Will. Ooh, that's an Isochron Scepter. Alright, they baited us out pretty good right there. We'll draw with our Rhystic Study. There's an Avacyn. Really need to find that 4th land. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about 35 lands. And again, maybe it's NTGO, but I've drawn 3 or 4 cards now, and there's been no lands in there. What do they put under the Isochron Scepter? It's a Mana Drain. Oh my. That's not great, actually. Let's take a look for things that blow up artifacts. None? Are there, like, none? Is that what I'm seeing? Chain of April returns it. That's a step in the right direction. Okay, there's a Vandal Blast. Ooh, opponent's going to Vandal Blast. Opponent's going to Vandal Blast the Lightning Greaves. Oh, that's from the... Never mind, I thought that was going the opposite way. So, Vandal Blast from the Will and Rowan opponent, shooting the Lightning Greaves for the Torbran. Lightning Greaves are good, but so much less good when Authority of the Consoles is in play. We finally catch that 4th land. Whew, I was getting pretty nervous right there. Pretty nervous. Pretty sure I'm going to use the Enlightened Tutor on the upkeep to get like a Soul Ring or something. Try to catch yourselves up here. Opponents are really beating us in terms of mana production. Cage Sun coming down for the red player. Yep. It's a Thran Dynamo. Does that mean we still need to do that? Probably should. We probably should. Torbran coming into us. Okay. 3 to us. Actually, no, is that 5? 5 to us. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let us play the Enlightened Tutor. Can't pay for the Rhystic Study. A lot of things we could get. Mana Crypt, maybe? Thinking Mana Crypt. No, Mana Crypt, red player wants to do lots of damage. Soul Ring. Yep, ooh, Smothering Tithe. Smothering Tithe is a card. We need to get it in this turn, though. Only on 3 mana. Because after that, it's going to be Mana Drain time. Yeah, I think it's just got to be Soul Ring. Makes me sad. Maybe we can Snapcaster Mage it back at some point and try it again later, but... Play the Mystic Gate. Play Soul Ring. I think we go for our Commander before the Mana Drain turns on. I mean, normally I would flash it in, but if no one else plays anything, opponent will just sit there with the Mana Drain, and that'll be a huge problem. So let's get our Commander. Plus, next turn, we can do just everything with Flash, so that seems real sweet. Plus, it just gives us a blocker, keeps the skeleton away. Can't say no to that. And with creatures in play, opponent may be tempted to tap out and go for Will. So that's a thing. That's not like the worst thing. If we get them to tap out that Mana Drain, that's going to be a good idea. Here comes Ayara. Yep. We will get to draw. There's a Mana Crypt. Alright, getting some more ramp going. And we're going to lose some life. Ooh, Authority of the Consoles. Might be the difference maker in this match. I think everyone else's life is going to be super, super low. Oh, hey, I just remembered that we can play Mana Crypt with Flash now. That's pretty cool. Here comes a Commander Sphere for opponent. That'll trigger our Rhystic Study. Ooh, they're going to pay for it. Alright, alright. Opponent going to leave some mana up for that Isochron Scepter. Yep. Red players set up to do potentially good things. They got a Cage Sun that they're about to untap with, so got 4 lands in play, plus a Soul Ring, so they're going to have some mana. They exile, ooh, Ogre Battle Driver. Well, Authority of the Console still in play. Makes Ogre Battle Driver not effective, but if Authority gets blown up for any reason, Ogre Battle Driver going to be pretty threatening with Torbran. We will draw with the Heuristic Study. It's a Karn's Temporal Sundering. That seems pretty good. Need a way to force it through with counter magic. Yeah, we might be able to, like, Narset's Reversal it if opponent tries to counter. I don't know, how much mana are we going to have? Still haven't found a land yet. Yeah, I would probably bring the land count up just a little bit in this deck. Authority of the Consoles will trigger. We'll gain a life. Cinder Pyromancer coming in. Yep. 2 Heuristic Study triggers. I mean, that's like pretty threatening, honestly. Battle Driver will give it haste. If opponent casts another red spell, it'll untap. And they can actually shoot our commander. Amongst other things. Yeah, that seems pretty good. So there's Battle Driver and Authority of the Consoles triggers. We're back up to 35. Yep, there's that red spell. Okay. It's going to untap the thinger. 2 more Heuristic Study triggers. Draw the Heuristic Study. Come on, land. Oop, it's a Divining Top. Guess we can go Mana Crypt, Divining Top, try to find a land. Brimstone Trebuchet, you say. 3, Defender Reach, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever a knight enters the battlefield, untap it. Yeah, the pingers. The pingers seem good with Torbran. So Battle Driver trigger on that. It now has haste. Opponent going to shoot us in the face for 3. Surprisingly, is this players only? Okay, yeah, it doesn't hit creatures. Okay, well, the face is better than hitting our creatures, so I'll take that. We can gain the life back with Authority of the Consoles. Try to stay somewhat neutral. Keeping ourselves in the 30s so far, even though we've taken a little bit of punishment from things. Torbran comes our way. It may not be the case, but... And here comes the power of Flash. Let's start flashing stuff in. Go for this Mana Crypt. Opponent will get to draw. It resolves. Go for Divining Top. Not going to pay for the Heuristic Study. Opponent will get to draw. Take a look with the Divining Top. Dig for some lands. Land, Gilded Drake, land. Hoo. Let us go. Gilded Drake in the middle and Command Tower on top. Brings back to our turn. A Mana Crypt flip. Go Tails. Won the flip. This is going to be a pretty ridiculous tempo blowout if everything resolves the way I want it to. Opponent will probably try to mana drain the Sword of Feast and Famine if we go for it. I think Karns is the better play, honestly, because we can Narset Reversal on the Karns, get it back, and then do it again. And that seems pretty ridiculous, so I think that's what we're going to be trying right here. Play the Command Tower. Play... We have to hope opponent doesn't have a Force of Will, something like that. Try to take an extra turn. Try to bounce this Isochron Scepter. Heuristic Study will trigger. Have at it. Opponent's going to activate the Isochron Scepter. I think this is going to cause a separate trigger, right? They're going to cast the Mana Drain. That should trigger our Heuristic Study. It does. We'll let our Heuristic Study resolve. Oh, opponent's going to pay for it. Okay. And then we'll try to Narset's Reversal our Karn's Temporal Sundering. That'll trigger opponent's Heuristic Study. And we could probably pay for that since I don't think we have anything else to do with 1 mana right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, that just resolved. Okay, so... Yep, take an extra turn. Bounce this Isochron Scepter. Isochron Scepter gone. Getting rid of that Mana Drain. Mana Drain will fizzle. Swing into our opponent. Now, next turn, we can do some serious tempo stuff. Get ahead mana-wise, and... I mean, we're taking an extra turn. If we could take another extra turn... Wow. Instant or sorcery. Take a... Does this exile itself? It exiles itself. Okay. Go to our second turn. Opponent's going to draw a card. Sure. Mana Crypt flip on us. We will go Tails. Won the flip. We draw that Gilded Drake. So now I think it's going to be Feast and Famine time. Let's play the Thran Dynamo. Opponent will get to draw. Play Feast and Famine. Opponent will get to draw. Equip the Feast and Famine. Opponents are tapped out. Feeling pretty good about this. Go to combat. Swing at the blue player. Untap all of our lands. Oh my. Oh my, this deck. This deck. Play Karn's Temporal Sundering. Take an extra turn. Bounce this Cage Sun? Bounce the Cage Sun. Heuristic Study will trigger for our opponent. Play the Gilded Drake. Opponent gets to draw. They're up to 18 cards in hand. Take Torbran. Go to our next turn. Mana Crypt, you can do some Mana Crypt flip. Go Tails once again. Won the flip. I think that's 3 in a row. Take a look with the Divining Top. See what we got coming. We've got a Teferi and 2 lands. I think I'm going to draw the Teferi. Play the Teferi. So we'll play Teferi. Heuristic Study will trigger. We'll play Narset. Could have used my Mana Rocks better right here. Whoops. We'll let the Heuristic Study go. I mean, they're at 19 cards already. They don't have what they need by now. Take a look with the Divining Top. Mystic Remora is a card. We'll go land, Mystic Remora land. Let us draw with the Teferi. Draw the land. Play the land. What does Narset do? Whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell from your hand, it gains rebound. Seems pretty good. Take another look at the Divining Top, see if there's anything else good that we've now drawn into. We've drawn into an Expropriate. I think we're gonna be just like a little bit short, I think. Oh, next turn, but opponent's gonna have so many cards in hand. Land to the bottom, I guess Expropriate to the middle. When do these lands untap? Beginning of the next end step. Yeah, that doesn't help us with Expropriate at all. How do we get more mana? We just need a little bit more mana. Well, I guess we have no more mana. Expropriate to the middle, Mystic Remora on top. Use the Narset ability, get the Mystic Remora into hand. We'll untap 2 land. Oh, we're going to tap him with a bunch of lands, so play the Mystic Remora, trigger opponent's Rhystic Study, go to combat. Does this 5 damage matter? Or I guess it's 4 now. Probably better off having a blocker for our Planeswalkers, honestly. We'll have a second blocker with Snappy. Yeah, we'll leave 1 blocker back. Into the blue player. Down to 20, 13 commander damage. Sword of Feast and Famine will trigger. They will discard a card. We're on 6 mana. Yeah, I think we're just sitting on Snapcaster Mage counter stuff. Or, I mean, we could get Avacyn, but yeah. The blue player is going to, like, try to bounce all of our stuff, so, you know. Here, the red player can have some untap lands. Oh, I guess it makes sense to give the player who's about to take a turn untap lands, so there we go. That was a turn, or 3. Here comes a Gutter Bones for opponent. 2 Rhystic Study triggers. Authority of the Consoles will trigger. Ayara will trigger. Reassembling Skeleton, 2 Rhystic Study triggers. Opponent paying for our triggers. More Ayara, more Authority of the Consoles. Staying at 33, Authority of the Consoles, doing work. I mean, if opponent has a Cyclonic Rift, they have to play it. It's going to get a little weird. We're going to need to figure out some solutions to... Ooh, that's a Teferi? We can't counter a Teferi. What we can do is take a look with Divining Top, see if there's anything good coming. Do we already know the 3 cards on top of our library? I think we do. We do, don't we? Probably could have waited 1 more. We have Grand Abolisher coming. That's a sweet card. Put Grand Abolisher on the bottom, Island in the middle, Expropriate on top. If I'm not mistaken, if we Snapcaster Mage the Force of Will, we have to pay the 5, right? Some of you blue players will know that. That's not something that comes up for me all that often. So I'm pretty sure you have to pay the 5 and you can't pay the alternate cost if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if we Narset Expropriate, that's basically the game. There's a Mystic Remora. Draw the Expropriate. Draw with the Rhystic Study. Get that land. Opponent's going to untap some permanents. Yep. Got exactly 7. Narset's Reversal, by the way, newer card out of War of the Spark, is absurd. They've printed 2 blue cards in the last year, like counterspells, that are insane. Narset's Reversal and Dovin's Veto. Oh man, those things are bonkers. Like, I really wish they did not print them. They are very problematic. Mystic Remora will trigger. Opponent's got a Thought Vessel coming in. And we get to draw once again. There's the Grand Abolisher. If we lay down Grand Abolisher during our turn, we are in good shape. Draw with the Rhystic Study. It's a land. Nope, Ice-Crown Scepter's coming back. Instant sorceries, yeah, still can't do much about it. Still can't do much about it. At least it's not mana drain. We draw out the Fairy's Protection. Cool. Feeling really good. Opponent's got... Oh, a Dramatic Reversal. We need to answer that. Yeah, we're going to have to Narset's Reversal that. So, Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora will trigger. See if we can draw a counterspell naturally. Sculpting Steel. Island. Alright. Play Snapcaster Mage. We'll go no right here. See if opponent's got free counters. Also, they've got 2 floating. Snapcaster Mage on Narset's Reversal. Attempt to Narset's Reversal. Draw with the Rhystic Study. Oh, that doesn't counter it, does it? Oh, yeah, no, it counters it by returning it. Okay, yeah. I think it fizzled. Did it fizzle? I don't know what just happened. Is that opponent's... Oh, opponent's going to cast their own Narset's Reversal? Okay. Okay, this didn't work. This did not work. We need free counters. We already used Force of Will. There's a Mystical Tutor. Yeah, we can Mystical Tutor into Pact of Negation is a thing that we can do. It is a counterspell battle right here. Opponent will get to draw with a Rhystic Study. Get Pact of Negation. I got to check one thing in the game log real quick. I don't think that... Oh, is that the copy? That's the symbol for the copy, right? Opponent's then going to try to copy... I think this is our Dramatic Reversal, but I can't tell. No. I'm not going to chance it. I can't really tell whose Dramatic Reversal this is. Not going to pay for the Rhystic Study. Because opponent's is also a copy. I don't know if our Narset's Reversal worked the way I wanted it to, so counter the Dramatic Reversal. Narset's fizzles. And we have not yet lost the game. Mighty counterspell battle right there. So now's opponent's chance to lay down a Magma Quake and really try and get us. Shoot us in the face for one. Sure. Opponent's going to cast the Tahngarth. Sweet. A sweet card. Deals damage equal to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to Tahngarth. I need to build that deck. That looks like a fun deck. I don't know if the new one's available on Magic Online yet. Essentially, it's got the Assault Suit ability. Here comes Tahngarth. Battle Driver and Authority will trigger. Opponent's going to blast this in the face for one again. Opponent's going to send the Gilded Drake into our Narset. Yep. That seems fair. It's going to bring it back to our turn. We got a Cumulative Upkeep, we got a Mana Crypt, and we got a Mystic Remora trigger. We've also got a Pact of Negation, lose the game trigger. Let's go Tails. Lost the flip. Down to 29. Cumulative Upkeep, we will pay for. Is it blue or is it 1? It's 1. Okay, yeah, we'll pay the 1. And then a lose the game trigger. Want to make sure we pay for that one. Actually, let's not use the Mana Crypt on that. Should have used the lands. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Pay for that trigger. Proceed to not lose the game. We draw a Manamo. Oh, that seems kind of ridiculous with Feast and Famine to play. Let's go ahead and play that. Let's go to combat and get our lands untapped. Kill this Teferi just in case things go wrong. Would that have put opponent to 1? That would have put him to 1, wouldn't have? Feast and Famine's going to trigger. I think I clicked OK already. Probably should have floated some mana first. Whoops. It's okay. That's okay. Use the minus on Narset. Play this Expropriate. Actually, one thing before we do that, we are going to draw with the Teferi just to see if we can catch a counterspell. It is not a counterspell. So now we'll try this Expropriate. Cast this Expropriate. Not paying for the Rhystic Study. We're going to go for time. I think everyone went turns on the Expropriate. That was surprising. Play a Grand... Oh, yeah, I should have played the Grand Abolisher before we did all this, right? Go to our extra turn. Untap some lands. Guess we can play a Sculpting Steel. Copy the Feast and Famine. Come back to our turn. We'll stay with the Remora for now. We'll probably let it go at some point. I'm sure it's going to get really expensive. There's a Flusterstorm. Do some attacking. So that should be lethal on the Will and Rowan player. Send our commander into Chaotix. And that Grand Abolisher will stay right where it is. Oh, I forgot to equip the sword. Whoopsie. Sword trigger on the stack. We're going to float a bunch of mana, get our Avacyn into play. That's 5. That's 8. Avacyn into play. Lands on tap. Put a sword on Avacyn. Start drawing with these two. It's a wasteland. Draw with the Teferi. Play a wasteland. We can skip looking with the Divining Top. I'm just trying to close the game out as quickly as possible as to kind of be respectful to our opponents. Time. Hey, that's one thing I don't love about like turns decks like this. It's just like, oh, watch me play the game for an extended period of time. You guys don't get to play. Kind of came up with the Neheb deck we played the other day too. Not particularly my favorite style, but when you're talking about trying to be as powerful as possible, not letting your opponents play the game is the way you win. There's a Dovin's Veto. That's I subbed that in for the Force of Negation. Is that one? That thing is like heinously expensive on Magic Online, so skipped that for price reasons. Dovin's Veto also really ridiculous. Attack like that. Should have drawn first with the things. 2 sword triggers. Nothing to really do. Guess we can empty hands out. Draw a card. Draw a card. It's a Grim Monolith. Play. Put it in the hand. Play the Grim Monolith. Do we forget to cast the Rebound on Expropriate? I think that's the thing we did. Or is that exile itself? Oh, it exiles itself. Does that mean you can't rebound it? Brings it back to our turn. Orum's Chant. I think this is our last turn. I lost count. Oh, we can ult this Teferi. Whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent. Seems pretty busted. Plus the Narset. It's a Cyclonic Rift. Guess we'll overload the Rift. Gets rid of all the blockers. Gilded Drake comes back to us. There's 10. So Chaotix goes down. 2 sword triggers. I think we are out of abilities. I think that was our last turn. Discard a card. Yeah, opponent just scoops right there. Told him completely okay to scoop at this point. It was okay to scoop a while ago, but pretty much Expropriate by itself. Either I messed up the Expropriate Rebound or the exiling makes it not work. I'm not sure which of the two that was. But just even a single Expropriate probably wins a game. So yeah, this deck is really strong. Like really, really strong. Extra turns. Pretty difficult to interact with. I mean, you're really talking about probably wanting to be in a blue deck at that point and having some counter magic. This deck has counter magic of its own, so you're going to be fighting the counter magic war. Playing this deck in this game, I am wondering to myself, how does this deck lose? That's the question that I have, and it probably takes a concerted effort from multiple opponents, because I don't actually have the answer. You counter things that matter, and you start like copying extra turns and just doing all the nasty blue stuff. How does it lose? I don't know. So yeah, super powerful deck. Definitely outside of my comfort zone. Also not a style that I love. I don't love being the player that's like, oh, watch me just play the game by myself for a while. It's very solitaire kind of deck. But again, when you're talking about a meta where if your opponent's untapped, they might just win. You're talking about high power combo metas, then I get it. Totally makes sense. For me in those kind of metas, I tend to play like Winter Orb and Armageddon and stuff like that. So that's my answer to the if you untap you win. So but yeah, really strong deck. The one thing I was noticing is that there were very few ways to answer an Isochron Scepter with a mana drain. I think Chain of Vapor is one, and that Karn's Temporal Sundering was the other, which we fortunately had in hand. But like, this deck could probably just use like a disenchant or something like that, even a generous gift, just some sort of like, there's a problem in play and I need to deal with it. It seemed a little bit weak to something like that. I guess Cryptic Command could bounce it also, but a lot of it'll depend on what kind of meta you play in for that type of stuff. But you know, something really wide open like a generous gift might be a good idea, or a disenchant. Just, you know, there's always going to be some artifact or enchantment that's a problem. So that'd be my one suggestion for the deck. Maybe another land or two. We got lucky that we had the early heuristic study, but I could very much envision the world where we start missing land drops. As great as a lot of these mana rocks are, maybe cut one for a land, maybe. It depends on how the deck's been playing, but yeah, we were very close to missing land drops early, and that's not a thing you want to be doing. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to Justin for sending me this deck list, and as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.